Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello, and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. Shireen here with you today as your podcast host, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Hilmarie. Welcome, Hilmarie.
Hi, Shireen. So nice to be back again today. And today I am so excited to introduce the founder of Entergreen, Rasha Saleh. Rasha is a Palestinian refugee who was raised here in the UAE, where she became an environmental activist.
Rasha, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. And I'm really glad to be here with you all.
Let's start with you giving us a little background information about yourself and how you ended up here in the UAE.
Sure. So my name is Rasha. As you've mentioned, I'm a Palestinian refugee. My parents have moved here. They were born in Lebanon and they've moved here to work and establish a life here in the UAE. I was born in Abu Dhabi back in 1994. Sounds like a lot of time now. Growing up here was, in general, a happy childhood. We loved to go to the parks and go outside and really interact with nature around us, the best that the UAE has given us. Later on, I grew up to pursue a degree in university. And I was really passionate about pursuing a degree in environmental engineering or something similar. But then eventually I ended up as a chemical engineer, but still focusing more on the sustainability part of it.
So you were always interested in sustainability and in the environment. That's excellent. Can you tell us a bit more about your journey with the Emirates Nature-WWF?
Reaching to that point to work at one of the best and very well-known environmental NGOs around the world, that has been a great achievement for me. And it wasn't easy to really, as someone, like I've heard people say, if you do as work what you love and you do it for a living, that's a great success. So it was a milestone for me. I mean, I graduated and it wasn't easy to find a job, and I went first into the field of sales and more into support of oil and gas. And for me, it wasn't something I liked. It was just to get the professional experience and get to the field. And I've always used my free time while working to do volunteering work and to get myself out, to get the experience. Because whenever I applied for a job, it was always like the nightmare of a fresh graduate. We need an experienced person. We need an experienced person. So I took that risk. I left my job. I was like, you know what? It's now or never. I'm going to go for that experience that everyone is asking for. So I applied for an internship at Emirates Nature-WWF to support their new education program called Connect with Nature, targeting youth in the UAE. And the whole idea itself was so amazing because I really liked that we are trying to raise awareness first to the locals and the people, the citizens who are living here and the visitors about our beautiful nature, especially youth, and away from the academic field. So it's not like you're just what you're learning at school. It's also about going out and having fun and enjoying nature with your senses. And yeah, eventually, I became part of the program and have been working with Emirates Nature for the past, 3 years.
As you mentioned, within your role, you are leading the youth engagement and providing opportunities for youth to be part of the conservation and also being part of change of their behavior. How do you feel about being a role model for young people?
Yeah, a big aspect of the program and what I really learned along the journey, that we were trying to literally connect those youth with nature through their senses, through the experiences that they're having, and ignite back that passion that we all have as an instinct. We all care about our nature. No one wants to live in a dirty place or in a place that does not provide you with food and clean water. So we were getting back in touch with that to change and inspire a change in behavior. I have already been going through my journey and trying, like, part of me aspiring to be part of that project is me trying to change, me trying to do something good about the environment. I have to say, I was also getting inspired through the way and learning through the journey. And people would see me and they're like, okay, we want to learn from you. We want to be like you. And I've never seen myself being a perfect person, a perfect environmentalist, but I've always seen it as a journey. And I was always trying to inspire people who are a little bit of steps behind in that journey to keep going and never give up.
I'm sure that you have learned a lot yourself, and now that you're passing on your experience to the younger generations to come. Also, I know that you are the founder of Green. Can you please tell us about the name? Does it translate to what I think? Does it translate to you are green from Arabic? And why did you choose that name?
Yeah, it does translate to that. It's funny how the name came. Actually, when I started my first job, as I mentioned, in sales and oil and gas, I used to finish and go chase any volunteering opportunities to support the environment, to learn more, to gain experience. And this was the time, I remember when I was studying like back in 2011, 2012, having fashionistas and bloggers and social media influencers was not still a thing back then. It was just like, oh, wow, you have cool photos and you're showing them off, or like, wow, like you're popular. Many people are liking your photos. But I think becoming a trend after that, I started becoming inspired by people with different, sense of fashion, the way they are showcasing it, fitness, healthy lifestyle, or food. And I've always looked for someone, especially someone in the UAE or in the region, someone who could inspire me or just guide me to go out in nature and tell me like what to do. How can I support? How can I change my lifestyle? What can I do? Venting about that to my friends. And they were like, you know what? You're doing that. You're going outside, you're chasing opportunities, you're volunteering, you're experiencing that, and you're collecting photos and videos. So just do it yourself. If you can't find someone, do it. And they encouraged me, and I started a public account. I named it Green. We were trying to find the name. I'm like, okay, around a cup of coffee, let's find a name for this platform. And it was, you know what, Green, because it mixed the Arabic and English. It covered both languages that are the main languages here in the UAE and the region. And really, it had that kind of like tone. And it also later on, it had more depth in its meaning. Inta, as you mentioned, you are green, is just in a way giving each person the responsibility that they can do something, they can inspire, and they can make a change. And I think this is where also the name is going to and resembling.
Honestly, I think it's a very clever name. And like you said, I love that it joins both English and Arabic, which are huge, the two languages that are very common here. I think it really worked out. And like you said, the deeper meaning that's true, that we all have a responsibility to our planet. I love that. I love that you're putting that out there for everyone to not kind of shrug it off and say, oh, someone else has to take care of it. No, every single person has to do something in order to make a change. As you mentioned, you started your journey with Green on your Instagram page, and then later you started a blog 3 years later. Do you want to let us know about why did you make this change?
Yeah, I think with the changes and with the time and the opportunities that have been coming up, I was like so inspired even by people who would come and ask me, let us know when's the next opportunity. Let us know what to do this, where to buy this, how to do that. I love writing in general. And I felt social media as a platform. Yes, you've got different ways to tell your story or just present it. But also I feel like a blog was like a next step in that journey to develop Green. And inshallah, I'm even hoping to develop it even more to become even like a community or even a business that's providing experiences for people in that field. But yeah, I think it's part of the journey of the brand. I wanted people to go somewhere where they can find useful information, they can get inspired, they can be part of the story. Green is not only about me and sharing my stories, my experiences, or my guidance. It's also, I've created part of like a sector in which people can submit their own stories. What is your own environmental journey? How did you start? What are the challenges you're facing? What are some successes in your environmental journey that you want to talk about? something that has been so really cool and inspiring to see, because there's no place for negativity or shaming anyone. I don't believe in that. We need to stick together and be positive. Yes, we need to hold ourselves accountable and to hold entities accountable, because it's not only our responsibility, but also I think being positive is the way forward and the way we can all get together to make a change. And this is where the idea of sharing your environmental journey comes from.
It's a very good idea. And you already have, as you mentioned, established a nice community on that. There's some excellent stories and experiences that others have joined and shared their story on the platform. So well done on getting the ball rolling on that. Very nice. Let's talk about 2019. I know it was a very special year for you. So let's start off with the award that you won that year. Can you tell us about the award and why you won it?
Yeah, 2019, I think, was definitely one of the best years. It was a big milestone for me. It was receiving the appreciation, I would say, or maybe, I don't know, the work that I've been done, which of course is nice to really feel and it's nice to experience. Yeah, I volunteered with the Environmental Protection Authority in Ras Al Khaimah, and they have an amazing program that's called Feminine Monitoring. It's actually, they're starting with another round right now. They're giving opportunities for females and a safe space that they can go out and volunteer and learn about the environmental programs and monitoring programs happening in Ras Al Khaimah, and they can shadow experts and professionals that work with this governmental entity. So it was really nice. I think a couple of times with them, I met their team. They're doing amazing efforts, and they've been promoting the way to support the environment and volunteer. And of course, as I've been trying to go outside and finding opportunities and gaining experience in being in those volunteering opportunities supporting the environment in the past couple of years, I had a lot of content to submit, and I submitted that for the category of individual volunteering, which I won as a first place. So it was really nice and cool. I think what's nicer is that people start recognizing you and seeing the passion. When people now meet me, we see how passionate you are. Like, it shows by the way you talk and the way you speak, which is something really nice, because I feel this would help me get the message heard. This would really make it easier for people to understand me and try to hear my message.
What a fantastic experience, and congratulations. As you say, that recognition for the efforts that you've put in is fantastic.
I know that you have another quite amazing experience that you've gone through that I want to touch on, which was your Antarctica experience. So I'm really curious how you got involved with something like that, and how was the whole journey for you?
When I think about it right now, until now, when I look at the photos, it feels like I went to another planet, or like I was dreaming or something like that. Even just now mentioning it and thinking about it, I feel like it's so unreal. Like, I've been part of that journey and that experience, which I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go back there. And there are only few people who can make it to that amazing continent. I applied to the Antarctic sabbatical. That is a research expedition led by Airbnb and the Ocean Conservancy. So basically, they were looking for 5 citizen scientists. And by citizen science, we mean people who support scientists and collecting information or some kind of support the researcher would need on site. They don't have to be professionals in the field, but they support the specific research or study. So yeah, they were looking for different people, and they opened it to citizens of the UAE, specifically Dubai. I don't know, like, I'm going to apply. It sounds amazing. Oh my God, what if they accept me? But you know what? I'm going to apply. You never know. And I did not expect that I'll be shortlisted and I'll do the interviews. It was so quick. The process was so quick. I did not have the time to process it. And then, next thing, they're like, congratulations, you've been chosen, and yalla, prepare yourself. You're going to Antarctica. So the whole experience, meeting different people, it changed a lot of my perspective also about the environment. I think we all at some point, we all live on the same planet, on our Mother Earth, but we all live different realities. And it opened my eyes. My environmental struggles are not the same as someone living in Arizona, someone living in India, someone living in Norway. Again, just sitting with this big group of people and just bonding with them, hearing about their experiences, and all of us coming to support this project was a very inspiring and touching part of the journey for me. And also seeing Antarctica itself, just being there. And by the way, I've never seen real snow. So the first time I've seen real snow was in Antarctica. And actually the plane there landed on the ice. So many weird things there, like you have to adapt to it. The sun does not go down in the summer, so it's just going around. There's like a sense of community there, and there's some kind of sense of danger. You need to be safe. You need to stay in an area. You need to follow the community's rules. Some stuff about like weird stuff, even about bathrooms and showering that we take for granted. We're like here taking showers for at least 15 to 20 minutes. There it's 3 or 4 minutes. That's it. You've got a bucket and you can only shower every like 3 or 4 days. So it makes you appreciate these small things. I think it's an experience that changed me as a person and made me also so proud to be part of that journey. And it also boosted my confidence. You know what? I've done it. If I went literally to the South Pole, I can do anything.
So amazing. And I can't even imagine what that was like. But you always hear about Antarctica, but you can't ever imagine to actually get to go and visit and get to experience what you got to experience. I feel like at the most, you just watch it on TV and you see like how difficult it can be. So that's really, really cool. And that's definitely going to be something that you will be telling probably for the rest of your life. I'm sure you're going to have many more experiences to add on, but that's definitely one for the books.
Yeah, absolutely.
What an incredible experience, and so privileged for you to have been chosen for that. But I'll tell you what I love about your journey and what you've told us so far is that you've been proactive in going after your opportunities. They haven't just come to you. You've entered awards, you've applied, you've put yourself out there for these things to come to you. So I also love that aspect of it. Let's change gears just a little bit and ask you to share with us some practical and easy to implement tips for our audience to live a more environmentally friendly lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. So something I've created on my blog or a piece that I posted, and I always try to talk about it to people because they're like, how can I start? It's not that easy. What can I do? Yeah, as I mentioned, it's a journey. For that journey, I've created some kind of steps to help a person identify at what maybe stage they are in that journey, because all of us eventually, we are supporters of the environment, or we want to be, and we're all at different journeys. Or at different steps of that journey. So the first step in that guide is to first measure some kind of your lifestyle or your performance in a way, some kind of internal auditing. So check what you're doing, your habits. You're waking up. What are you doing? You're brushing your teeth. You're driving the car to go to work. What are you eating? Everything, just for a couple of days. Just record everything that you're doing. What are you using? What are you consuming? You actually acknowledge or you become more conscious about those habits. Sometimes we do things and because of the habit, we don't even think twice about it. I remember when I was younger, I used to just take many single-use plastic bags because I did not know where they're going to end or where they're going to go. For me, that was something just engraved in my brain. Just take more, it's better. You're going to carry, more stuff with them or it's going to help you. I did not think more than that. So I think it's an important thing to be conscious about what you are doing as habits. The second step is Google it. It's easy. It's there, at least in this part of the world. world, we have the privilege of having access to internet and devices. So any click on the internet, any sentence we type, what's happening to the environment, information, research, documentaries, open that up, Google it, and you'll find a ton of reliable information that you can read, that you can increase your knowledge and know about, and also even learn about what kind of alternatives you need to go for. The third step is to surround yourself by a community. So try to find people who have that same sense of thinking. Try to find more people who are, environmentalists, who are trying to care, who are wanting to change, even if they are at different steps in their journeys. But when you're part of that community or group, or when you surround yourself by people who are actually having the same goals that you're setting for yourself, it encourages you and it really supports you when you're feeling low. Next thing is the fourth step, which is to take baby steps. Again, we can't just snap our fingers and wake up the next day and we're the best citizens on earth. It's a step-by-step. Changes specifically to your habit need to happen gradually. So take it easy on yourself. Don't expect a lot of changes in one day or in a short period of time. And the last thing is never give up. Even if one day it all falls down and you do something wrong and you feel like, you know what, I'm just one person. It doesn't make sense. I'm screwing it up. I'm not even good at it. I always say never, ever give up. It always matters, and one person can definitely make a change.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for those excellent tips. A lot more in depth than I thought you would go, but very, very valuable. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So wonderful. And linking back to what you mentioned at the start with the whole name, that Intergreen, which is again, you are a part of it. So you have to first take a look at yourself and evaluate what you are doing and your habits. So it's all very interlinked and connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rasha, you have already accomplished so much. What are some of your future goals?
I think at this point, I've gained a lot of experience. Of course, I'm always learning new things. Maybe it's time for me to take that step forward. I really hope that Intergreen will become some kind of social enterprise by itself. I really hope the vision for me, the way I see Intergreen now, is that it's changing to become, I love, by the way, traveling, and I love to see how people transform and change. Traveling changes a person. So for me, combining this passion of traveling and nature, or getting to learn more about nature and experience nature, is something I would like Intergreen to become in the future. So hopefully something like sustainable travel and tourism.
That sounds very exciting. I'm looking forward to following your journey to see what you actually accomplish next. Excellent. So now we have come to the segment of our show where we will each ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. So it's our version of a game show. So what is your favorite horse riding spot in the UAE?
Yeah, that's easy. It's Mleha Sharjah.
I guess maybe this one could be possibly a bit more difficult. Who would be the one guest that you would like to invite for dinner cooked by you, dead or alive?
Oh my God, I have no idea. I've always heard people trying to answer this question and they know for some reason. I don't think I have a person in mind, really.
Any celebrity that you would love to meet or someone?
I don't know. Maybe at this point, Leonardo DiCaprio, and the way he's popular and being active in that field.
How do you spend your weekends?
So usually horse riding or learning something new. Now I'm trying to learn diving, sometimes hiking, a lot of hiking, and or working.
Oh, lovely. Well, at least the hiking and the diving part. Very nice.
And last, what is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you are?
I'd like to say Muay Thai or sports, because I used to do it every day, no matter what, or do some kind of sports.
Okay, how about I simplify it for you? What is something that you like to do for yourself every day at some point, end of the day, before bed, or first thing in the morning? Is there something that you do just for yourself before work, before anything like that?
It's just journaling or planning or drafting my ideas and getting things out. And of course, praying and gratitude and making sure that we appreciate the blessings that we have and the place that I live in and the privileges that I have, and hopefully to carry them forward and to help other people.
That's lovely.
Thank you for playing along. And just before we wrap up, we would like to do our Green Pill moment. So for this segment, Rasha, what was your Green Pill moment, the action or event that was the turning point for your career?
I'd like to say that every person and their journey, they have some kind of turning point. For me, it wasn't just in my career. It was a shift of thought in a way, like a shift of thinking. So yeah, when I was studying at AUS here, I used to live in dorms, and I remember just getting water, which everyone needs, and it's so simple. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I would just go to the vending machine, put my coins there, and just get water bottles. No matter how many bottles I needed that day or that week, I would just get whatever I wanted. It was just for me, like thinking about, okay, I'm thirsty, I want to drink water. But then one day I started diving deeper into some courses in the environmental field, I thought about it in a different way. I started collecting my bottles. I was like, let me see how many I'm going to collect per week. And every day I would just go by the same way I used to do. But when I finish, I wouldn't throw it away. I'm just going to collect them in my room. And yeah, by the end of the week, at least like depends on my consumption, like I'd say 30 to 60 single-use plastic bottles. And I looked at these bottles taking my space in my room or my desk. It was just me, one person, only me. And then I thought about, what if my roommate did that, like got her bottles? And then what if the girls in the dorms did that? What if all the people on campus, then, in Sharjah and the Emirates, then in the country, then in many countries, like the numbers just started multiplying in my head. I think that was a turning point for me, because I realized that as one person, it does make a difference and it does make a change. And if one person says, or like I've read something, like one person threw a little piece of litter and they're like, oh, it's only me. And then 1 billion people said that, then we have 1 billion pieces of litter. So for me, yeah, that was a turning point, and I started looking at things differently, definitely.
Absolutely incredible.
It's so crazy that it's such a simple, normal, daily thing that doesn't really cross a lot of people's minds, but you just put that into perspective for yourself and made that revelation of, oh my God, like this is how much waste I'm producing over such a normal thing like necessity or like water, right? Which obviously we can't live without, but surely there has to be a better way of consuming it without bringing so much damage. And I find it's ironic. What I found is a lot of businesses nowadays are finally going more eco-friendly and more environmentally aware. But I always find it so ironic with people that are like, we don't use straws, no plastic straws here. But then they'll serve it to you in a plastic cup with a plastic lid. And I'm like, that's still plastic. And that probably has more plastic than a straw. I feel like people still don't fully grasp it, because I guess straws made like a big boom of save the turtles. And now everyone's talking about straws, but disregarding all the other single-use plastic that we're consuming that probably is even more harmful. I think it's a very good lesson for everyone who's listening as well, to take a step back and evaluate your consumption and try to do better for yourself and for our planet. So thank you for sharing that.
A lot of people are going to be inspired by your story and your advice. So that was excellent. Thank you so much. Now, before we say goodbye, Rasha, could you please tell our listeners where they can find and follow you? We'll also put this in the show notes.
Yeah, sure. So check out, I'm mainly on Instagram. The handle is called EntaGreen. So ENTA Green. And feel free to reach out. You can also check out the blog, www.entagreen.com. And if you feel like submitting your environmental journey, feel free to do that. And I'll be happy to post it and inspire other people.
That's lovely. Thank you again, Rasha, for joining us today. It was fantastic. And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. see you next Wednesday.